It is showtime, and it's September 12th, 2019. It's normally the show is shot on Wednesday. Oh, where are my manners? I am so sorry. Welcome to everybody to an all new Downright Sports, and I'm your host, Brent Reid. If you've never seen the show before, it's the most underground internet show out there, and I, ladies and gentlemen, like to let you know it is showtime. Today's show, where basically is the NFL insensitive to certain topics or certain things out there. We're going to touch on that in segment number 2. But as we start every show until the end of the season, let's kick it off with the WNBA corner, where last night two games happened last night of single game elimination. I think the NBA playoffs is probably the best playoff system out there right now. But we saw the Storm take on the Minnesota Lynx. The Storm would beat the Lynx 84-74 by 10 points. Jordan Canada went off last night, 26 points, as she helped lead the Storm over the Lynx. Lynx, of course, missing Maya Moore, just like the next team we're going to talk about, missing a significant player. I'll get to that in a second. The second game was not as close. The Phoenix Mercury took a beating to the Chicago Sky, 105-76. Diamond DeShield went up 25 points. She did what she needed to do, get her team to the next round. The Storm will take on the Los Angeles Sparks, and the Sky will take on the Las Vegas Aces. That game is Sunday, and those are also single game elimination for those two teams. Whoever wins that moves on to the next round to face the top two teams, the Connecticut Sun and the Washington Mystics. So I still say we're going to see the Ace versus the Mystics in the championship, where you're going to see some great matchups. In any case, this offseason for all WNBA players, it is so important for you guys to make a statement. I know a lot of you probably need to work, but it's time to make a stand. They need to increase. I can't say they can make the pay exactly what the NBA guys get, because TV revenue is what really offsets that, but they need to increase the pay enough to where they're not losing key players to overseas. Brittany Griner's already said, I love playing WNBA, but there's potential I can find myself playing overseas next year. If they lose her, they already lost Diana Taurasi this year. They lost Maya Moore. What's to say they can't afford to lose any more marquee players, and because the league is already teetering, they need to find ways to tweak the league, make it more popular, just make it where it's competing at least with MLS soccer. You get my point. But when we come back, we're going to go straight into the topic, and this is Downright Sports. All right, everybody, welcome to the topic. And this past week, Antonio Brown just keeps making headlines. He found himself on the New England Patriots after getting himself cut by the Oakland Raiders, not even playing the game. But the Patriots signed him automatically, which already had everybody in the NFL ears steaming. Oh my God, the Patriots got him. It is clearly he set that up. He set it up. We're not going to talk about that. Days after he signed with the Patriots, it came out that civil suit was out against him of a former trainer of his claimed sexual assault on 3 different occasions. Now, she didn't file criminal charges, she filed civil charges in the state of Florida. It may be the time period is so such that they can't charge her with criminal charges, but they can charge her with a civil suit. The conversation, though, for me, as I've been trying to work on this all week, has been, where does the NFL stand on women assault or even accused assault, and why does it seem like they're so quick to, or they're so slow to respond in these situations? Unless there's video. Now, if there's video, we'll jump to it real quick. But you take a look, Antonio Brown. Now, we don't know what happened. Nobody knows. But the old English proverb, when there's smoke, there's fire. Now, the NFL can't interview her this week. A, they don't have subpoena power, and B, she's getting married this week. So she's probably, this just all came out, and she's, it could be one of the two things. I can play devil's advocate and say, well, she's just being an opportunist, but I'm not. What I'm going to do is ask, because let's look at let's look at the big thing in the room. Colin Kaepernick can't play because he took a knee. So it's obvious nobody wants him. Now the rumors and reports are that Jacksonville may want to sign him since losing their quarterback. But why hasn't there been more urge to that? I've seen the NFL sign players who haven't played in years. Quarterbacks who've been sitting at home. The Redskins a few years ago signed a quarterback that was a high school football coach. You know what I mean? This guy's in the league. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who just re-signed. The Jets, McCown just signed with the Eagles. These guys are in their 40s. They weren't any good when they were in their 20s and 30s. But Colin Kaepernick is still sitting at home because he chose to take a stand against injustice. Interesting. I found 4, not including Brown, or 5, active players who have been accused or found guilty of sexual misconduct in some way, shape, or form that are still in the league today. Jameis Winston, Ben Roethlisberger, Julian Edelman, Richie Incognito, and Ezekiel Elliott, who just got a contract extension. We look, and Mark Sanchez was in the NFL and now currently works for ESPN. So when it comes to football and it comes to winning, is women's rights just insensitive? Because actors like Kevin Spacey, even Ben Affleck and others have lost their jobs and their livelihoods just from alleges. Just by people saying, I think, and they're just being erased. Kevin Spacey's image was taken off of a show he created. But in football, because you can hide a person behind their helmet and their jersey, it's easier to say, nothing happened, sweep it under the rug. The NFL is not struggling in the ratings, trust me. Between gambling, between fantasy football, and between just dumb traditionalists who really don't understand issues of today and just insensitive period, they'll never lose those guys. But eventually eventually it starts happening. The NFL should not want to relive the Ray Rice situation. And again, it goes back, if it's not on video, they don't care. Look at a guy like Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy got like 2 chances, and he was caught on audio threatening to kill the woman. And was found guilty, basically. But yeah, we gave him another opportunity, another chance, because he stands when the flag is raised. It's kind of strange, the message that you're sending. So it's okay to potentially assault and molest women, but if you take a knee, that's where we're going to draw the line. I think if you're the NFL, it's time now. You can't wait for more evidence. You either put Antonio Brown on the commission's exempt list because he already acted an ass with the Raiders. He acted an ass with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Suspend this guy now. Let the smoke clear, and then if it's good, it's good. Josh Gordon smoked a little weed and had to sit out for an entire year. Weed's legal in like 9 states. So where's it at, NFL? It's kind of strange if you ask me. I'm asking the question. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just asking the question. Tell me what you guys think. You're allowed to. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to wrap it up with the MLB Clubhouse. Downright Sports. All right, the Clubhouse is a segment we do for MLB. Again, we'll do this segment 2 until the season wraps up. Basketball and baseball, 2 long years. You can't be doing topics it's just too much. So you do segments and you make it easy. Last night, a record was broken throughout the league when Jonathan VR hit a home run in the 7th inning for the Baltimore Orioles. You put in the MLB all-time home run record. Forgive me here. 6,106 home runs for the entire league. The record was initially set in 2007 and 2017, Before that, the first record was set in the year 2000 at 5,693. What that pretty much means is either everybody's on steroids or baseball's juicing the ball. I know what they're trying to say. Analytics says you got to get the launch velocity and you swing the bat and the ball will go out the park. If it was that easy, guys have been doing it forever. there have been better hitters in the past than there have been today. I think the balls are being, you could hear this difference in their home run. Just go back and listen to a home run from 20 years ago when Mark McGwire was hitting them. They didn't sound like this. These balls just sound like cushions that are going out the park. Some guy who plays for Houston looks like he weighs $102 hit a ball practically out of that ballpark the other night. He may win Rookie of the Year. I can't even think of his name right now. It's not important. What is important is the playoff race on both the National League and the American League, and it is the divisions are pretty much wrapped up. The Yankees have taken care of the East, eliminating the Red Sox. That's cheers from all of New York and the rest of the world who hate the Red Sox as I do. Sorry. But let's wrap it up. The wild card, Tampa Bay right now has a nice little lead, so they're probably they got the top number 1 seed. But Oakland and Cleveland are fighting for that number 2 spot. Cleveland is a half a game back. Oakland is ahead. Oakland is hot right now. Cleveland is teetering. Cleveland can't afford to keep losing games. There are like 3 weeks left of baseball, 18 games. So Oakland's got to look to kind of take care of that. In the National League, it's a lot sexier. The Nats, they got it covered. They're 3.5 up. But for that number 2 spot, Cubs and Milwaukee are tied. The Mets are now back in it at 2 games back. Philly, 2 games back. And Arizona, 2.5 back. Nobody plays each other except Milwaukee and the Cubs, but they also have to face St. Louis, have a 4-game lead, which is not comfortable, but is good enough to kind of just jab a little bit and keep your distance. The Cubs and Milwaukee are going to knock each other out eventually, which if the Mets just keep winning and not lose a series. I said this last week, the Mets cannot afford to lose a series. They have to win every series. They don't have to sweep everybody, but they have to win every series. If they just let the Cubs and Milwaukee beat the devil at each other, the Mets will find themselves in what we could potentially have, and we could have a 1-game playoff between Cleveland and Oakland, and we could have a 1-game playoff between Milwaukee and the Cubs just to get into the playoffs. This happened last year too, and that's what makes the second wild card so exciting, because it gives more teams opportunities and more baseball. And hockey and baseball do playoffs right. Hockey because they have the 7 games and it's exciting. Baseball because it's a month. Basketball is literally the playoffs start in April and don't end until the end of June. That's disgusting. And the NFL does it right too, because 1 game. But anyway, thank you all for watching. It's been fun. Be back next Wednesday, all new show. I'm Just Talking the podcast will be tomorrow and Sunday. I have to catch up. I didn't do a show Tuesday. I have to catch up. We'll touch more on the NFL stuff later. But to listen to the podcast, I'm Just Talking the podcast, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play. Check me out there. And the music today was by my man Uncle Buddha, all day, every day. So yeah, it's been fun. Deuces.